What's the real price tag on Formula One dominance? While fans obsess over lap times and championship points, team owners are playing a completely different game. One measured in billions, not milliseconds. Red Bull might be dominating on track, but when it comes to pure financial muscle, they're not even close to the top. The business of F1 has transformed dramatically. Just 5 years ago, you could buy an entire team for what some drivers earn today. Now, the least valuable team on the grid is worth more than what Ferrari was valued at just a decade ago. I've spent weeks analyzing financial reports, investor documents, and recent transactions to bring you the definitive ranking of every F1 team by valuation. And the numbers will shock you. From the smallest operation fighting for survival to the billion-dollar juggernauts redefining what an F1 team can be, this is the money behind the machines. Before we dive into the rankings, let's establish what we're actually measuring here. A Formula One team's valuation isn't just about the cars, the factory, or even the technology. It's about the brand, the commercial partnerships, the intellectual property, and increasingly, the media rights and fan engagement. When Liberty Media bought F1 in 2017 for $4.4 billion, they didn't just acquire a racing series, they acquired a global entertainment platform. And that shift in perspective has completely transformed how these teams are valued. So, let's start the countdown with the team currently sitting at the bottom of the financial grid. Haas entered Formula One in 2016 with a revolutionary business model. Instead of building everything in-house like traditional teams, Gene Haas created a lean operation that purchased as many components as regulations allowed from Ferrari. The approach was brilliant. It allowed them to enter F1 at a fraction of the cost of building a team from scratch. But this efficiency-first approach has its limitations. Haas lacks the extensive facilities and manufacturing capabilities of its competitors. Their technical partnership with Ferrari, while cost-effective, means they don't own as much proprietary technology. And their commercial portfolio, while growing, doesn't match the blue-chip sponsor lineups of the legacy teams. What's fascinating is that despite being the least valuable team on the grid, Haas is still worth around $700 million. More than triple what Gene Haas likely invested to get the team up and running. That's the power of the F1 franchise system that Liberty Media has created. Even the smallest team has enormous value simply by holding one of only 10 licenses to compete. The American outfit has shown impressive resilience, surviving financial challenges that would have killed teams in previous eras. With the cost cap now in place and F1's popularity soaring in the United States, Haas has positioned itself for potential growth that seemed impossible just a few years ago. Sauber, soon to become Audi in 2026, sits in an interesting transitional phase. The Swiss team has been a fixture in F1 since 1993, operating as the quintessential independent outfit. They've survived where many others have failed, partly due to their efficient operation and partly due to their reputation for developing young talent. Their current valuation of approximately $800 million reflects both their established infrastructure in Hinwil, Switzerland, and the potential upside of the incoming Audi partnership. What's remarkable is that Longbow Finance purchased the team for an estimated $150 to $170 million in 2016. That's a 400% return in less than a decade, better than almost any other investment vehicle in the world. The Audi acquisition, reportedly valued at over $600 million for a staged takeover, demonstrates how dramatically F1 team valuations have shifted. A decade ago, manufacturers were leaving F1, not entering it. Today, they're willing to pay premium prices just for the entry ticket. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more F1 deep dives coming your way that'll make you the smartest fan at the pub on race day. Alright, let's get back to it. The team formerly known as AlphaTauri, and before that Toro Rosso, has always lived in the shadow of its parent team, Red Bull Racing. Originally purchased by Red Bull in 2005 for around $40 million from Minardi, the team's primary purpose was to develop drivers for the main Red Bull squad. Today, RB's valuation of approximately $900 million reflects both its established facilities in Faenza, Italy, and its strategic importance within the wider Red Bull racing ecosystem. While it operates under the cost cap as a separate entity, the synergies with Red Bull Racing provide efficiencies that boost its underlying value. The recent rebranding from AlphaTauri to RB signals a shift in strategy, moving away from being purely a Red Bull junior team toward becoming a more commercially viable operation in its own right. This transition, if successful, could significantly increase the team's value in coming years. What's particularly interesting about RB is that despite being owned by the same parent company as Red Bull Racing, its valuation is less than a third of the flagship team. This gap illustrates how championship success, star drivers, and premium sponsorships dramatically impact team valuations beyond just the cost of the physical assets. Alpine, backed by Renault Group, sits in an interesting middle ground on the grid. The French manufacturer has a storied history in F1, but has struggled to translate that heritage into consistent performance in the modern era. Their valuation of approximately $1.1 billion reflects their comprehensive operation, with facilities split between Enstone, UK, Chassis, and Viry-Châtillon, France, power units. What's notable about Alpine is that they're one of the few teams that builds both chassis and engines in-house. This vertical integration is expensive to maintain but adds significant value to the operation. It's also why, despite middling on-track results, they're valued higher than some more competitive teams. The recent investment from Otro Capital, Redbird Capital Partners, and Maximum Effort Investments, including Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, value the team at around $900 million for a 24% stake. This transaction provides a rare public benchmark for F1 team valuations and demonstrates the growing interest from entertainment industry figures in the sport. Alpine's challenge is translating their technical capabilities and resources into on-track performance. If they could match their financial muscle with championship contention, their valuation could easily climb another 50%. Lawrence Stroll's ambitious project has transformed the former Force India team into one of F1's most talked-about operations. After purchasing the bankrupt team for approximately $120 million in 2018, Stroll has orchestrated one of the most aggressive expansion programs in F1 history. The team's current valuation of around $1.3 billion reflects both their existing performance and, more importantly, their potential. Aston Martin is building a state-of-the-art campus in Silverstone that will rival the facilities of the top teams. They've recruited top technical talent from throughout the grid and secured the services of two-time world champion Fernando Alonso. What's particularly impressive about Aston Martin's valuation is that it's been achieved without the championship pedigree of teams like Ferrari or Mercedes. It's a bet on future potential, rather than historical performance. And it shows how F1's new financial regulations have created a more level playing field where ambitious projects can rapidly gain value. The association with the Aston Martin luxury brand also adds significant commercial appeal, allowing the team to attract premium sponsors and partners that might not otherwise consider a midfield F1 team. This commercial strength, combined with Stroll's willingness to invest for long-term success, makes Aston Martin one of the most interesting valuation stories on the grid. Williams represents one of the most remarkable valuation stories in modern sports. When Doralton Capital purchased the team in 2020, they paid approximately $180 million for a proud but struggling operation. Just 4 years later, the team is valued at around $1.5 billion, an astounding 733% increase. This dramatic rise reflects both the overall growth in F1 team valuations and the specific improvements Doralton has made to Williams' operations. They've invested in modernizing the team's facilities, strengthened their technical partnerships, and begun rebuilding a competitive workforce after years of financial constraints under the Williams family. What makes Williams particularly valuable is their heritage and brand recognition. Despite recent struggles, they remain one of F1's most successful teams historically, with 9 Constructors' Championships and 7 Drivers' titles. This legacy creates a premium that newer teams simply cannot match, regardless of current performance. The Williams story demonstrates how the new F1 economic model has fundamentally changed team valuations. Under the previous structure, a team's financial viability was almost entirely dependent on on-track results. Today, even a team rebuilding from the back of the grid can be worth billions simply by holding one of the coveted 10 franchise positions. The current dominant force in Formula One sits 4th in our valuation rankings at approximately $3.2 billion. Red Bull's position illustrates an important truth about F1 team valuations. On-track success doesn't always directly correlate with financial value. Red Bull's operation is among the most efficient in F1. They've built a winning machine without the massive automotive manufacturing backing of Mercedes or Ferrari. Their Milton Keynes headquarters has become the envy of the grid, producing championship-winning cars year after year. What's particularly impressive about Red Bull's valuation is that it's been achieved while remaining a privateer team. Unlike Mercedes or Ferrari, they don't have a car manufacturing business to offset costs or provide additional revenue streams. They've built their value almost entirely through racing success and masterful brand building. The recent minority stake sale to Orbis reportedly valued the team at around $3 billion, providing a solid benchmark for our estimate. This transaction also highlights how F1 teams have become attractive investment opportunities for financial institutions, not just vanity projects for wealthy individuals or marketing vehicles for car manufacturers. Red Bull's challenge going forward will be maintaining their value in a post-Adrian Newey era as the legendary designer departs the team. Their technical brain trust has been the foundation of their success, and replacing that institutional knowledge won't be easy. The most iconic name in Formula One ranks third in our valuation countdown at approximately $3.5 billion. Ferrari's position might surprise some fans who would expect the prancing horse to top any F1 valuation list, but it reflects the complex reality of how these teams are valued in the modern era. Ferrari's F1 team is just one division of a publicly traded luxury car company. While the racing operation benefits enormously from the heritage and brand power of Ferrari, it also means the team doesn't exist as a standalone entity that could be easily sold or valued separately. What makes Ferrari's F1 operation particularly valuable is their unique position in the sport. They're the only team to have competed in every Formula One season since the championship began in 1950. This longevity gives them unmatched heritage and fan loyalty. It's also earned them special treatment in F1's commercial agreements, including a historical payment that no other team receives. Ferrari's technical operation in Maranello remains one of the most comprehensive in the sport. They design and build almost every component in-house, including their power unit, a capability shared by very few teams. This vertical integration adds significant value to their operation. The team's commercial appeal is unmatched. Despite recent struggles on track, Ferrari attracts premium sponsors willing to pay top dollar for association with the iconic brand. This commercial strength provides a financial floor that insulates them from the performance-based revenue fluctuations that affect other teams. McLaren's position as the second most valuable team on the grid at approximately $3.8 billion represents one of F1's most impressive business turnarounds. Just a few years ago, the team was struggling financially, forced to mortgage their iconic headquarters and seek emergency investment during the COVID-19 pandemic. Today, McLaren Racing has transformed into a diversified motorsport group. Beyond their F1 operation, they compete in IndyCar, Formula E, and Extreme E. This multi-series approach creates economies of scale and commercial opportunities that single-program teams can't match. The team's valuation has been boosted by several strategic investments. In 2020, MSP Sports Capital acquired a significant minority stake that valued the racing operation at around $700 million. Subsequent investment rounds have dramatically increased that figure, reflecting both McLaren's improved on-track performance and F1's overall growth. What makes McLaren particularly valuable is their brand strength and technical capabilities. The McLaren Technology Center remains one of the most impressive facilities in motorsport, housing advanced manufacturing capabilities that extend beyond racing. Their commercial program has been revitalized under Zach Brown's leadership, attracting major partners like Google and Coca-Cola. McLaren's recent on-track resurgence has only enhanced their value proposition. After years in the midfield, they've returned to race-winning form and positioned themselves as a potential championship contender in the coming years. This competitive trajectory, combined with their commercial strength, explains their premium valuation. Topping our valuation countdown is the Mercedes F1 team at approximately $4.5 billion. The German manufacturer's dominance during the turbo-hybrid era created not just a racing juggernaut, but a commercial powerhouse that remains the most valuable operation on the grid. Mercedes' F1 team represents a perfect storm of valuable assets. Their Brackley and Brixworth facilities house some of the most advanced motorsport technology in the world. Their brand carries the weight of both racing heritage and German engineering excellence. Their commercial program, bolstered by years of championship success, attracts blue-chip partners willing to pay premium rates. What's particularly impressive about Mercedes' valuation is how efficiently they've built it. Unlike some manufacturer teams that operate as pure marketing expenses, Mercedes has structured their F1 operation to be financially sustainable. Through prize money, sponsorship, and technical partnerships, the team covers most of its operating costs, making it a viable business rather than just a marketing exercise. The recent Ineos investment, which saw Sir Jim Ratcliffe acquire a one-third stake in the team alongside Daimler and Toto Wolff, provided a solid valuation benchmark. This transaction valued the team at well over $3 billion. And subsequent F1 growth has only increased that figure. Mercedes' challenge going forward will be maintaining this premium valuation as they rebuild from their recent competitive slump. However, their technical capabilities, commercial strength, and championship pedigree provide a solid foundation that should preserve their position at the top of the financial grid, even as they work to return to the top of the racing one. What's fascinating about these valuations is how dramatically they've changed in just a few years. When Liberty Media acquired F1 in 2017, the entire grid wasn't worth what the top 3 teams are valued at today. This explosion in value reflects both Liberty's success in growing F1's global appeal and the fundamental restructuring of the sport's economics through the cost cap and more equitable prize money distribution. For investors, F1 teams have become the ultimate trophy assets, combining the prestige of elite sports ownership with genuine growth potential. For manufacturers, they've transformed from marketing expenses into valuable business units that can actually contribute to the bottom line. The question now is whether this growth is sustainable. With rumors of potential new teams willing to pay $700 million just for an entry fee, the market clearly believes these valuations have room to run. But as with any asset class, there's always the risk of a bubble. What's certain is that Formula One has evolved from a sporting competition into a global entertainment product, where the business battles are every bit as fierce as the on-track ones. The teams that can master both arenas, competitive performance and commercial development, will be the ones that continue to see their valuations accelerate. If you enjoyed this financial deep dive into F1, hit that subscribe button for more analysis of the business behind the sport. Next week, we'll be looking at the highest paid drivers on the grid and whether their salaries actually match their performance. Until then, I'll see you in the comments.